Welcome to Tennis Spin, where we put our spin on your tennis. Today, it's the battle of the guts. Who makes a better gut? Which gut is better for you? Stay tuned. All right, guys, who's got guts today? We're going to be talking about natural gut. But before I get into it, I want to thank my sponsor, Racket Aid. For those of you who live in a racket desert, got to drive 20 plus miles to get your racket strung, how about a racket stringing service that can come to your door? Well, think Racket Aid. Go online to RacketAid.com, register for the service. This box will wind up at your doorstep, this empty box, with some instructions in it. All you got to do, put your rackets in, tell them what kind of string, how tight. They just started carrying Solinco Hyper G. You know how I feel about that, but that's beside the point. But they got Hyper G now, and that's a top 5, top 6 string in the nation now. So you can get your rackets strung with Solinco Hyper G by Racket Aid. Put your rackets in there, tell them what you want, ship it away. They come back strung, ready to go with a free overgrip and a free dampener. Check them out, RacketAid.com. All right. So we're talking about guts today. Now, I've been stringing with these two guts for the past over 10 years, probably maybe even more. And I wanted to tell you what the differences are, because people are always asking me, what's the difference between the Wilson gut and the VS gut? So the Babolat VS natural gut has been around for, I want to say, over 100 years. It's the signature thing of what Babolat has done for their 100+ years of being in business. Yes, they are a very old company. People think that they are literally 20 years old, came out with the Pure Drive, and that's who they are, 20 years old. No, they're close to 150, if not 150 years old, from what I believe. And this is what they're known for. Back in the day, everybody called it VS Gut, right? So Babolat was kind of in the background, VS was in the foreground, and that's what they're known for, VS Gut, this string right here. And they are masters at making natural gut. But what is the difference between this and this? These guys, from what I understand, used to make gut for these guys. And it felt a little different, so I'm guessing the grading was a little different also. It felt like a tonic string that they gave these guys, because it felt different also. But that ended years ago, and Wilson decided to produce their own gut. Now, let me show you something real quick before I dive into this a little more. So this is made in Lyon, France. Okay? And that plant has been there forever. So constant production place, constant production of the same gut. Now this one, for some reason, says made in Ireland, which is interesting to me because I've been looking at the packages of these for the past few years. I remember when it said made in France. I remember when it said made in Belgium not too long ago. And now it says made in Ireland, which is interesting to me because I've kind of felt the differences in the gut that Wilson has made in the past, I want to say 5-6 years. So, but there's one thing that has been consistent though. There is a difference. For those of you who are stringers out there, you can feel a difference when you string these two. This one, definitely softer. Definitely, when you string it, there's not as much of a structure to it, if you know what I mean. It's soft. Like when you pull it, it spins easily. And if you screw it up, you know when you screwed it up, because you have to handle this with a little more care. For those of you who are stringers, you know what I'm talking about, okay? You have to be really, really careful stringing this VS stuff, because it is sensitive. This is a little firmer. You can feel it when you string it. It wants to be a little straighter. It's a little more wiry. It's a little firmer when you string it also. There's not as much stretch to this one as there is in this one. So if you're a stringer, you know what I'm talking about. Now, is there a difference in the play? I say yes. This, you can feel, is a little softer. They both have a break-in period, though. So fresh gut, for most people, right off the machine, will feel a little firm. It needs a day or two of hitting before you achieve that softness that most people relate to gut. Now, this feels firmer. This feels softer. But at first or second day of hitting, they both break in and feel soft, like natural gut should. But what happens later on is what is actually the telltale. This frays faster. This breaks faster. But does it play better? I would say it's real close. Real close. This lasts longer, for sure. Right? For sure this lasts longer. I can tell you that 100%. This will last you longer. So if you're looking for a gut that will last, I would say 10 to 20% longer, the Wilson is the way to go. How do I know that? Well, I put this on mains a lot with polyesters on the cross. These come back like way faster than this does. So, and there's a reason probably why Fed, right? Well, aside from being sponsored by Wilson, that he goes here. I mean, he can easily tell Wilson, hey, I want Babolat instead because your gut's not as good, but he doesn't. So these are two quality guts with minor differences. Just to go over a couple of things. Why do they call this gut? I feel like people don't understand. Gut in its natural form, like these, are actually made out of a natural fiber. That natural fiber comes from a cow's intestine. That's why they call it gut, because it comes from the cow's gut, the stomach. Okay, people think, oh, nonchalantly, oh, gut, it's like candy, whatever, man-made. They don't realize it comes from an animal. It comes from a cow, right? That steak you had last night, right? This probably came from there. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so as a side note, I only carry these two brands of gut. I've tested out a bunch of other ones in the past, and they're not as good as these. So just to give you an example, I've tested out like 4 or 5 different guts in the past 5 years. And literally, as soon as I took it off the machine, it lost 20 pounds. It doesn't hold tension very well. Whereas these holds tension really well. So those probably need some type of pre-stretching, and I don't even know if that's going to help. I probably wouldn't invest in those cheaper guts. Unless you tested them out in the past. There are a few out there, but these we know will do the trick. So the difference is, you be the judge, right? A little softer, a little less lasting, a little less break-in time, a little more durable, little firmer. That's my review of these two. But again, try them out. See what you think. Okay? So Wilson Natural Gut, Babolat VS Natural Gut. Thank you for watching Tennis Spin, where we put our spin on your tennis.